In this video, we're gonna make a 6 foot by 4.5 foot Dutch pour. It's going to be gigantic. We're gonna see if we can pull it off. We're gonna actually make our canvas from scratch. The whole point is we want to be able to put really big artwork in our Airbnbs. And I've been able to create some basic stuff that works, but I feel like a Dutch pour would really just hit really hard if I can pull it off. So this is my first attempt. Let's see how it goes. All right, so to pull this off, you're gonna need canvas stretcher bars, you're gonna need some canvas, staple gun, scissors, or like a X-Acto knife, and then canvas stretcher. This is so that way you can lay the frame on the floor on top of the canvas and then put the canvas over the top. So let me just quickly make this for you and we'll talk about how to do it. So notice how my canvas is slightly wider than the frame itself. That's gonna be important. So when you buy canvas stretcher and canvas, you need to like choose your sizes appropriately, because obviously like your sticks could be too wide for the canvas and you can't make the frame. So I'm gonna staple the center at the end first. I'm gonna line that up perfect to not waste any canvas. I'm just gonna staple it. And then as we do this, I'm gonna be stapling the centers and then I'm gonna work my way into the corners. When you staple the centers, you don't need much tension, so we're not gonna use this until we start actually working our way into the corners. So let me get the centers done. Let's move on. Okay, so I put 4 staples in the centers. I just do that out of habit. That might just be overkill. So now I'm gonna use this canvas stretcher and I'm gonna do basically, let me kick this so you can see it. I'm gonna do here, and then closer and closer in the corner until I get to the corner, and then I'm gonna fold it over. Now also, you wanna buy a canvas stretcher that has this knob on one side because you're gonna use it to create leverage as you peel over. You actually use the frame, and this kind of rolls over the frame and helps pull the canvas. Cheaper ones will have like rubber inserts here, you don't want that, and it'll be missing this piece. So you wanna make sure you buy a good one. One thing I recommend too is when you're stretching this, where you staple, you're gonna create tension. You actually wanna put the staple a little bit to the outside of the corner because you're gonna be pushing the ripple towards the corner, and if you pull and stretch and then staple closer to the corner, you might accidentally kind of create an unmovable wrinkle, and you have to undo that staple and redo it. So stretch it and always staple a little bit towards the center, so that way this is leading towards the corner. Okay, so first you pull it down like this, but then you kind of abandon that. You're going to tuck it right there, and then you're gonna fold itself over itself like that. So pull down to get this over here. Now you're gonna tuck this in, the part that's actually the side. You're gonna tuck this in, because what you really care about is you want this edge to be clean. So you've decided that this is gonna be your fold over. Let this pull, tuck it in like that. Now let this part here then, you're gonna tuck here, and then you're gonna tuck here. Let this fold over like that, and then bring this over the top like that. And that gives you a clean edge. And then a couple staples. Ta-da. Hopefully I can zoom in enough that you can see that, because we're shooting in 4K, but I am far away. So let's do another one. Same thing, starting from the center, and then here, and here, here, and all the way into the corner. So just in case I made 2 canvases, so we can do one, and if I screw up, we can do another. Now, the canvases took me about 12 minutes each to put together, so that's about how fast that is. Now I've taken my paints, which most of them were already made for pouring, like acrylic pouring paints, and I still added a little water to them, about 2 parts paint, 1 part water, so that way they're way fluid. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour them, and we're gonna use like a blow dryer and a really long straw, because these are really big paintings, and we're gonna be blowing the paint around in order to create the effect. So first I'm gonna put a base of black. I'm using silver, gold, white, and then 2 shades of blue. One I've made like a midnight blue, one's called a Hawaiian blue, and then I've got pearl and green. All this is metallic except for the black, by the way. That white base and the black base are non-metallic, but this white and this green and those blues, the silver, the gold, they're all metallic, should create a really cool reflective quality on a more of a matte black background. So I took my shoes off so I don't wreck those. It's gonna be a lot of messy painting right now because I've got to get the black all over the front of it, and then I'm gonna use a little torch to get some of the air bubbles out. And then while the canvas is wet with paint, we're gonna pour the other stuff on top. So here we go. So mixed with water, that was probably about 2 quarts of paint total, like with the water in it. Secret to success, use a lot of paint. So I'm actually going to now paint the sides black, so that way it's gonna have like a professional finish, and then we're gonna get on with the rest of it. So my butane lighter that I bought did not come with a butane cartridge. So we are not going to be getting out air bubbles on this canvas today. It's just the way it's gonna be. Okay, now we're gonna start pouring the paint. I'm gonna start with, how do I want this to go? All right. It's blow dryer time. Dutch pour number 2 is going to actually be a white background. I think this is probably better for paintings this size. Here's my reason. This is the black one, and I think because there was so much paint when we did the black background that it's sagging down the center of the painting, because obviously these are really wide. So as much tension as I put these under when I stretch them, a lot of paint will cause it to sag in the center. And so essentially what happened is it started to move towards the middle or towards part of the painting that sagged the most. So I'm going to use a white background, which essentially I'm just using half pouring medium and half water because the canvas is already white, right? So I'm just going to get the canvas wet essentially, so that way we can pour on the paints. And then I'm actually not going to mix the pouring acrylics with water so they don't flow as much. Hopefully that keeps it from doing this running river situation that happened to this one. Hopefully that's it. So let's see what happens. So we've already identified the fact that there is a sag in this, right here in the middle. Getting stuff all over me. So that sag in the middle, we would have the same problem with the paint running like with the black one. So, but I obviously just used a lot less fluid to make this wet. I think really having that wet surface is the most important part of the Dutch painting. I think, now it won't have anything to blend with from the outside aside from a little bit of the painting medium, so it might affect the edges. We're about to find out. So what I realized on this project is the paintings will sag no matter what. It's just a lot of paint for the canvas. So I would recommend getting extra sticks, right? So I've got some 6 foot long sticks and some 4.5 feet long sticks for this. So if you do some Dutch pours, just put a couple extra 4.5 foot long sticks on the ground below the canvas, and it'll hold the canvas up generally and support it to prevent that flow, unless that's something you want, which could be cool if you planned for it. Now, the white one, it was a lot harder to get the edges the way that I would like, so I started using like white paint around the outside to try to get that softer blend, because obviously there was no white paint on the canvas, so you couldn't get that pillowy outside. So I started like mixing in white paint around the edges to start to try to manipulate that. Now, with the black one, I think it went really well. It ran in a kind of unique way, which obviously affected the final product because there's not nearly as much green in it as there was. I put a ton of green in there trying to get the thing to look cool. So what can you do? I like the black one better, personally. The white one is fun, festive, very much fiesta style. I'll try to find a home for it once it's dried. But the ones that I did with these lines here, those are so much easier to make, and they're much more duplicatable, right? Because it's more just background, foreground. These ones are fun, and I would like to keep practicing them, and hopefully I can do them well enough to try them. There's another version of this. The Dutch pour uses a blow dryer, right? But there's one where you use paper towel, and you like pull the paper towel across the paint. It's pretty darn cool. So if I can find a way to stabilize the canvas so the paint doesn't run, I will try to create the proper amount of like fluidity in the paint. I think the first one was close, but the running was the problem. So we're gonna play with that later, and then hopefully I can show you another paint style. But yeah, thanks for tuning in with me on this one. This was super fun. As always, guys, I'll see you on the other side.